But first, it was a huge day for the right of self-defense, a huge day for due process, a huge day for the presumption of innocence, and a huge day for Kyle Rittenhouse, who was found not guilty, as we thought he would be, on all 5 counts. Take a look.
The defendant will rise and face the jury and hearken to its verdicts.
State of Wisconsin versus Kyle Rittenhouse. As to the first count of the information, Joseph Rosenbaum. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the second count of the information, Richard McGinnis. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the third count of the information, unknown male. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the fourth count of the information, Anthony Huber. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the fifth count of the information, Gage Grosskreutz. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty.
Kyle Rittenhouse, based on the law, based on the evidence, video evidence, testimony, is an innocent man. He acted in self-defense. This is backed by the video evidence, multiple eyewitness accounts. Even the prosecution's star witness backed this up in court. Now, a jury unanimously has confirmed what has been obvious for months, and that is obvious to everyone acting in good faith. And by the way, Joe Biden, the Democratic Party, the mob and the media are not acting in good faith, and they have not been the whole time. Why? As usual, they rushed to judgment. They never bothered to review the evidence, as per usual. They never reached out to witnesses, as per usual. Instead, well, they do what they always do, rush to judgment. Then the smears and slander and besmirchment, in this case a 17-year-old, now an 18-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse, in order to score a cheap political win. Now Kyle Rittenhouse should sue them all of them, starting with Joe Biden. On the campaign trail, he referred to Rittenhouse as a white supremacist who should be disavowed. Rittenhouse is not a white supremacist. Not a shred of evidence was ever presented that in any way suggests that. He shot 3 other white men who were attacking him. Now, 2 of these men were convicted violent felons. One of them served a decade behind bars. Why? For raping 5 little boys ages 9 to 11. Rittenhouse was clearly acting in self-defense. The evidence showed it. Joe Biden owes Kyle Rittenhouse an apology. That has not been forthcoming. Instead, Joe released a statement saying he was angry and concerned by the verdict. Then he trotted out to the Rose Garden, pardoned a turkey, grinning ear to ear. He doesn't give a rip about Kyle Rittenhouse. I guess he's turned the page here like he has in Afghanistan. And the hell that he went through, by the way, because of the slander, the libel from the left, including and starting with Joe Biden himself. His vice president, Kamala Harris, also trashing the verdict, saying that our justice system needs to be more equitable. Just last week, remember Jen Psaki, asked by our own Peter Doocy, suggesting that, well, generally speaking, we don't like vigilantes, and another lie. And frankly, if I was Kyle Rittenhouse's attorney, she should be held accountable as well. In 2020, Congresswoman Presley called Rittenhouse a white supremacist, domestic terrorist, drove across state lines armed with an AR-15. Congresswoman Omar called him a domestic terrorist who executed 2 people. Bozo Beto O'Rourke accused him of being a white nationalist terrorist. 2 weeks ago, House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries tweeted, quote, "Lock Kyle Rittenhouse up and throw away the key." Fake news CBS, they falsely reported that Rittenhouse murdered 2 men. MSDNC, they might be the worst of the bunch, falsely referring to Rittenhouse as a right-wing extremist. NBC News falsely reporting Rittenhouse flashed a white power sign several weeks before the trial. None of this is true. None of it. But now that Rittenhouse has been found not guilty on all charges, the smears are just as bad. Look at this actual headline from MSDNC. Quote, "The Kyle Rittenhouse trial was designed to protect white conservatives who kill." Meanwhile, Comrade de Blasio, the soon-to-be leaving mayor of New York City, tweeted, quote, Anthony Huber, Joseph Rosenbaum are victims. They should be alive today. The only reason they are not is because a violent, dangerous man chose to take a gun across state lines and start shooting people. To call this a miscarriage of justice is an understatement. A guy that took away $1 billion from funding the police in New York City. Wow. And not to be outdone, California's Governor Newsom tweeting, America today, you can break the law, carry around weapons built for a military, shoot and kill people, and get away with it. That's the message that we've just sent to armed vigilantes across the nation. Jerry Nadler called it a miscarriage of justice that sets a dangerous precedent. Congresswoman Cori Bush tweeting, quote, the judge, the jury, the defendant, it's white supremacy in action. This system isn't built to hold white supremacists accountable. It's why black and brown folks are brutalized and put in cages while white supremacist murderers walk free. The Congressional Black Caucus, they released a statement. It says it is unconscionable that our justice system would allow an armed vigilante to go free. Former backup quarterback turned social justice warrior himself, Colin Kaepernick, wrote, we just witnessed a system built on white supremacy validate the terroristic acts of a white supremacist, and this only further validates the need to abolish our current system. White supremacy cannot be reformed. Now, when you think the dishonest rhetoric and the vitriol can't get any worse, guess what? Think again. Take a look.
To take from this verdict what they want and to use it as permission to attack Black Lives Matter. And Black Lives Matter ain't just black people, as we just saw. Mr. Huber and Mr. Rosenbaum are white. They're Jewish. They are also victims and easily made victims because anyone who supports Black Lives Matter should be very afraid tonight.
Are we safer after this verdict? Are we safe if we let someone like Kyle Rittenhouse kill people and then claim self-defense? Do we need better laws that protect us better? And the answer is clearly yes.
What effect will this case have on things like vigilantism and self-defense arguments?
To be clear, the aggregate kind of understanding that we get from these Zimmerman-style verdicts, that aggregate message is twofold. One, it is to tell the current and future Kyle Rittenhouses of the world that they can engage in white vigilantism.
I do believe that age was a factor. However, I think that it was amplified by the fact that he enjoyed the privilege of being infantilized. And
I hate to, in any way vilify prosecutors. They did what they could with the facts of this case, but the deck was stacked against him, not the least of which the judge, in many ways, had their hands tied behind their backs.
Now, my message to Kyle Rittenhouse tonight, sue them all. Hold them all accountable for their lies, make them pay, and follow the law. And I'd start with Joe Biden. Kyle Rittenhouse did not cross a state line with a weapon. He did not travel to Kenosha looking for a fight. Instead, he was in Kenosha, as testimony in the case showed, cleaning graffiti from the prior night's riots. He was then asked to stick around, defend a friend's car dealership. He was then chased. He was assaulted. He was cornered by an angry mob. Now, this was a clear-cut case in every instance of self-defense. Now, we do not operate under a system of mob rule. Truth, justice, evidence, due process are key components of this great republic. If anyone at fake news CNN, MSDNC, if they had an ounce of decency, they would tell the truth, they would show the evidence, they would apologize for their biased coverage, but that's never going to happen. Liars, they're con artists, they're Democratic, race-obsessed political operatives. Kyle Rittenhouse and Americans everywhere, we do deserve better. This happens again and again and again. Richard Jewell, Cambridge Police, Ferguson, Missouri, hands up, don't shoot. Freddie Gray, Baltimore, Maryland, UVA, Duke Lacrosse, Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman. They're always wrong. They always rush to judgment. They never allow due process. They never allow the presumption of innocence.